Great experiences don't build themselves.
Behind every personalized journey is complexity, tools, teams, and tech.
AI moves fast. Expectations move faster.
Adobe Experience Cloud offers the power, but strategy turns potential into performance.
This is the AEM Analytics Consulting's Adobe at Scale podcast.
Subscribe, align your stack, accelerate your enterprise. You're listening to our Adobe at Scale podcast, where we demystify the Adobe Experience Cloud and turn enterprise complexity into clarity. Hosted by experts from AEM Analytics Consulting. Let's get into it.
Greetings from the AEM Adobe Cloud team, and welcome to the Deep Dive.
Yes, welcome. Here we really try to unpack complex topics using curated insights, specifically for you.
Our goal is always to cut through the noise, give you the core information you need to stay well-informed quickly.
And today we're tackling something pretty central, I think, for leaders thinking about the future of customer experience.
Absolutely. We're diving deep into Adobe Experience Platform, usually called AEP. We'll explore what it is, who it's really for, the big reasons why you might consider it.
And just as critically, when it might actually not be the right fit. That's important too.
Definitely. Now, this deep dive pulls from analysis and thinking aimed squarely at corporate C-suite executives.
Right, leaders like you who are making those, really high-stakes strategic calls about data, about infrastructure, customer engagement. It's a complex landscape.
So our mission today, equip you with the core understanding, the key things to weigh up from this material to help inform those decisions. Okay, let's get into it.
Sounds good.
So first things first. What exactly is Adobe Experience Platform at its heart?
Well, the material defines it pretty clearly. It's a real-time customer data platform, a CDP.
A CDP, right. And its main purpose.
It's all about enabling businesses to deliver, smoother, much more customized customer experiences.
And that's across all touch points, right? Digital and physical.
Exactly. It's designed to solve that persistent problem of fragmented, sort of disjointed customer data systems that frankly plague a lot of large organizations.
Yeah, data scattered everywhere. And I like the analogy that popped up. AEP as the customer data version of an airport control tower.
That's a powerful one, isn't it? It's not just storing data, it's actively managing the flow, tracking everything in real time, making sure experiences land correctly.
So that control tower idea, how does that translate into actual capabilities? What can it do?
Well, fundamentally, it gathers and standardizes information from all sorts of systems. Your CRM, websites, transaction data, service centers, maybe even legacy systems.
Bringing it all together.
Right. And crucially, it doesn't just dump it in one place. It creates dynamic, constantly updating customer profiles in real time.
So not a static snapshot, but a live view.
Precisely. A living, breathing picture of each customer's current state, their interactions, their behaviors.
Which must then allow for much smarter segmentation.
Exactly. Dynamic segments based not just on who they are, but what they're doing right now. And the payoff is activating experiences across all your connected channels: marketing, commerce, service.
Responding instantly.
Yes. And importantly for leaders, built-in privacy and governance are core. We're talking access controls, consent management, data lineage, things you absolutely need.
That governance piece is huge, especially with regulations like GDPR, CCPA.
Absolutely critical. And underlying a lot of this power is machine learning and AI, Adobe Sensei specifically.
Sensei for deeper insights.
Yes, for things like predictive analytics, next best action recommendations, understanding customer lifetime value, churn analysis, going beyond just reporting what happened.
Okay, so that paints a clear picture of the what's, but the who. Who is this really built for? Who gets the most value?
This is where it gets interesting. The sources highlight specific types of organizations.
Nice.
Large companies, typically.
Oh.
Especially those with really intricate, maybe multi-stage customer journeys that cross different departments and systems.
Makes sense. Complexity needs managing. What else?
Businesses interacting across many channels.
Okay.
Big financial services firms, major retailers, telcos. The more channels, the bigger the benefit of that unified view.
So scale matters.
Scale is a huge factor. The material emphasizes businesses managing millions, sometimes hundreds of millions, of customer records, trying to activate on that volume in real time without a dedicated platform. It's incredibly difficult technically.
And I imagine global operations play a role.
Definitely. International brands dealing with different compliance rules, needing localized experiences. AEP's governance and activation helps manage that complexity.
What about existing tech stacks? Does being an Adobe user already make a difference?
It certainly helps. If you're already using tools like Adobe Analytics, Target, Campaign, Journey Optimizer, the native integration within the Adobe Experience Cloud is a significant advantage. Smoother implementation potential.
Okay, but it's not just plug and play, is it? What about the teams needed?
That's a crucial point the material stresses. Success requires strong, collaborative teams across data, IT, and marketing. This isn't just a marketing toy. It demands serious enterprise data strategy and technical partnership.
Right, so for the C-suite listening, if your organization ticks these boxes, scale, complexity, multi-channel, maybe already in the Adobe ecosystem, and you have those collaborative teams, AEP is likely positioned strategically for your challenges.
Precisely. And if you are in that target group, the tactical benefits become really compelling. The why invest.
Let's talk about those. What are the big upsides?
Well, first off, that real-time data activation we mentioned. It lets brands respond instantly to customer behavior.
Give me an example.
Okay, imagine someone is browsing your site, puts items in the cart, then hesitates. Maybe gets distracted and leaves.
Happens all the time.
Right. AEP can see that signal in real time and trigger, say, a personalized email or maybe a push notification almost immediately, not days later when the data gets processed.
That immediate response is powerful. And the unified profiles, how deep does that go?
It pulls everything together. CRM data, web behavior, purchase history, service calls into that single dynamic view. It takes you way beyond basic segments into true one-to-one personalization potential.
And that's where the AI comes in again, Adobe Sensei.
Exactly. That depth fuels the machine learning. Things like predicting the next best action for a specific customer, scoring their likely lifetime value, flagging churn risks before they leave. It's about guiding strategy proactively.
And you mentioned privacy and governance before. That seems less like a feature and more like table stakes now.
Absolutely. For leaders, it's a massive risk mitigation factor. AEP provides the framework access controls, consent handling, data lineage to help navigate complex laws like APAK, CCPA, GDPR at scale.
Trying to manage all that manually across dozens of systems. Yeah, good luck with that. It's like trying to conduct an orchestra where every musician has a different sheet of music.
That's a good one. Yeah, it's chaos without a central system. And AEP helps orchestrate the experience itself, ensuring it feels connected across channels, especially with tools like Adobe Journey Optimizer integrated.
So it connects the dots for the customer journey.
That's the idea. And finally, its architecture is modular. It's designed as a foundation you can build on, adapt as new marketing, sales, or service tech emerges. It's about future-proofing to some extent.
Okay, theory's great, but let's make it real. Any examples of companies actually using this successfully?
Yeah, the sources provide some good ones. T-Mobile USA, for instance.
Okay, what did they do?
They used AEP to centralize data across their retail stores, online channels, service interactions, the works. By tailoring interactions based on those real-time signals, they reportedly saw big jumps in customer satisfaction and retention.
Direct business impact. Nice. Who else?
Verizon is another. They integrated AEP with marketing and customer support. The goal was consistent, personalized experiences, and enabling teams to react quickly, activate campaigns effectively across all their channels.
Makes sense for a company like Verizon.
And the Home Depot uses AEP for their huge omnichannel operation, integrating online and in-store data to deliver personalized recommendations, offers, service, bridging that physical-digital divide for millions of customers.
That's a classic omnichannel challenge. And any B2B examples?
Yes, ServiceNow. They target enterprise IT buyers, right? They used AEP to refine their digital marketing campaigns, better segmentation, real-time data activation. It led to increased lead engagement and faster sales pipeline growth.
So these aren't just abstract benefits. These examples show direct impact on key metrics, retention, satisfaction, pipeline velocity, engagement, things the C-suite definitely cares about.
Exactly. It demonstrates the potential when applied strategically at scale.
Okay, but it's crucial we look at the other side too. AEP isn't a magic wand for everyone. When might it not be the right choice?
Absolutely critical point. The analysis highlights several scenarios where caution is needed.
Such as?
For starters, small businesses or startups. The platform's cost and complexity can just be, well, overkill, really, given their likely scale and data volume at that stage.
Right, you need the scale to justify the investment. What about internal capabilities?
That's a big one. Limited internal technical resources can be a major roadblock. AEP implementation isn't trivial. It needs solid data architecture skills, integration know-how, experienced MarTech folks. You need the team.
So if your tech team is already stretched thin, maybe pause.
It's definitely a consideration. Also, If your actual needs are fairly basic, maybe just simple email automation or standard segmentation, lighter platforms might do the job.
Like a HubSpot or Klaviyo, perhaps.
Potentially, yes. If you don't need the sheer power and complexity of AEP, a simpler tool might be more efficient.
What about the data itself?
If you only have a few relatively isolated data sources and connecting them isn't a massive headache, then AEP's core strength managing vast, disparate data might not be fully utilized. You might be paying for power you don't need yet.
Okay. And implementation time. Is it fast?
Generally, no. If the absolute top priority is getting something up and running next week, AEP probably isn't it. It requires careful planning, data modeling, integration work. It can take months to operationalize properly. It's a strategic build.
Right. So understanding these limitations is key for leaders. It prevents investing in something that doesn't match your current capacity, your immediate goals, or your realistic timeline. Avoids misalignment.
Precisely.
Are there specific examples of companies where AEP wasn't the right path?
Yes. The material gives a couple of counterexamples. One was a startup e-commerce company.
What happened there?
They looked at AEP but struggled. Limited funding, their data pipelines weren't fully built out yet, and their strategy was still shifting rapidly. They ended up choosing segment CDP, instead found it faster, more efficient for their immediate needs at that early stage.
So stage of business matters. Any others?
Another case was a mid-market business, specifically a local medical facility.
Interesting. Why not AEP for them?
They evaluated it, but decided against it, at least for them. They felt it was overly complex for their relatively small customer base. They also had limited IT bandwidth and a strong need for simpler pre-packaged APA-compliant solutions. They went with Salesforce Health Cloud instead.
A more tailored fit for their specific constraints and compliance focus.
Exactly. These examples just reinforce that best platform depends entirely on your specific resources, your actual needs right now, and your business stage. It's not one size fits all.
Okay, so let's say after weighing all this, an organization decides AEP is the right strategic direction. Implementation isn't the end, right? It's the beginning.
Absolutely. And this is where specialized expertise, like the kind offered by AEM Analytics mentioned in the sources, often comes into play.
How do they help, according to the material?
Well, deploying AEP effectively is a major undertaking. They could assist right from the start, doing things like digital maturity assessments, understanding where you are now.
Laying the groundwork.
Yes, and then helping design the necessary governance frameworks and the data ingestion architecture, basically. How you get clean, reliable data into AEP in the first place. That's critical.
And connecting the tech to the business outcomes.
Crucial. They help link those customer experience journeys you want to build directly back to tangible business objectives, making sure the investment pays off.
What about the hands-on AEP work?
They help with that too, creating sophisticated segmentation plans, building out those real-time customer profiles, and then the activation piece, launching campaigns, personalized experiences on Adobe tools and other platforms.
So implementation and activation support. What about after launch?
Ongoing support is key. Providing training, helping with continuous optimization, making sure you're getting the most value out of the platform long-term.
And the material highlighted their approach.
Yeah, it emphasized combining that business-centric, results-focused view with deep, practical AEP project experience. Knowing the tech inside out, but always linking it back to driving quantifiable business results.
So they can potentially partner from strategy right through execution and beyond.
That's the idea presented, helping you navigate the journey if you're considering AEP or already moving forward.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. What's the big picture takeaway for a leader listening to this?
I think it's that Adobe Experience Platform represents a really significant step change in how businesses can manage and use customer data. It enables personalization and real-time experiences at a scale that was previously very difficult, if not impossible.
A powerful foundation for companies serious about leading on customer experience.
Definitely. But, and the big but, realizing that potential absolutely demands the right organizational readiness. You need that clear strategic vision for data and CX, and often you benefit from knowledgeable partners to handle the complexity.
And a final key thought from the sources seems to be, when you're choosing any platform, especially one as significant as AEP, success really hinges on evaluating it against your specific business needs and your organizational reality, not just chasing the shiniest new tech.
Well said. It's about finding the right fit for your context. And, at AEM Analytics, the aim is to help organizations make those informed choices and then execute effectively to get real value from their data.
So here's something to maybe mull over after this deep dive. We know customer expectations for real-time, personalized experiences are only increasing, right?
Seems inevitable.
So the question isn't just about the technology. How prepared is your organization today to handle the fundamental organizational transformation? The changes to process, people, data strategy that's required to truly leverage a powerful platform like AEP effectively. It's more than just buying software.
That's a really critical point to consider. We hope this deep dive into Adobe Experience Platform has given you some valuable perspectives for your own strategic thinking.
Absolutely. If you found this discussion useful, or if you have your own experiences navigating these complex data and technology decisions, we'd genuinely love to hear from you. Feel free to leave a comment or reach out.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive from the AEM Adobe Cloud team.